So, for a guy whose main go-to platform has been clean the glasses for gaming, it's been computers for me all the time. If I'm honest, I mean, for a guy whose first console was this video pack, Odyssey 2, whatever, and whose second one was this Commodore 64. This is it's not a real one. This is like the Maxi, but yes, I got one. I mean, note the similarities. They're all computers basically, and I went from that to PC gaming. So you would think that I am a PC gamer, and I am. I always have been, but it doesn't mean that I don't like consoles, because I have them and I enjoy them. But here's my point. And there's a reason why I think that PCs should probably be more like consoles by now. And the reason I say that is because I've been drawn into just a mild case of PC optimization, trying to get my computer to basically not crash. And the path that I have walked, it's not a long path and it's not a painful one, but I've very quickly become intimate with details about clock speeds, about voltages, about compatibility of parts that I'm not comfortable with. I have no interest in wanting to know whether the XMP profile of my computer is set to profile 1 and what the hell that means. Because really I don't know. Really, I wonder if anyone except the people who make this stuff actually knows. If you look at all the tiny little settings that go on and off, they're all cryptic settings with abbreviations that you really have to look up or know before you even know what they mean, let alone know what they influence. Actually, here's the problem. Quickly, I've got a PC built by a friend with an experienced friend. Yeah, let's not name Mark this time. So he knows what he's doing. He probably goes on the PC parts picker, which you need actually to assemble some hardware, and then you order that, and so that makes sure that the parts are compatible. Let's just focus on memory and the main board. So you have to, if you buy a main board, you think, oh, this is a nice modern main board. You can buy that, but then you have to go into the manufacturer's parts compatibility list for memory, and it lists by brand, by type number, by serial number almost, which memory you can and cannot buy and put into it. And then, if you're lucky, it'll work. Now, since people have discovered overclocking stuff, manufacturers of main boards and memory and CPUs, they've made the overclocking easier, and they've catered to the the category of people who want to tinker with that. So they've made a lot of stuff accessible to them, but also this allows you to mess up your board. My problem was that the PC that was built for me, it crashed. I had blue screen of death in Windows. I had the game that I play often had unexplained crashes. It would just stop, crash the desktop. The blue screen of death was about storage. Then it was about my graphics card. Then it was about my memory. And there's no rhyme or reason. An intermittent fault. The cause of the problem appeared to be that the memory was the memory speeds had been overclocked. Not in a very advanced way. Advanced, I mean that relatively, because it's all very advanced. But just XMP enabled Profile 1, that's it. But because I didn't have 2 memory banks, but 4, apparently this combination is very toxic, and over time it just doesn't want to accept it, and it's going to create memory faults. What that basically means is that when you write a value to a memory address and you read it back, you expect the same value, but this memory would fail, or the memory controller, the whole system would fail, and it would flip 1 bit the wrong way. I know because I tested it for 7.5 hours, and it gave me 2 bits over a period of 7.5 hours of continuous testing, memory-specific testing. It returned 2 faulty bits, which isn't much. But if that happens at the moment that you're formatting your disk or you're playing a game, it can just mess up everything. Windows can't solve that. No memory trick can solve that. It's just faulty. It's just an error. Now, I was able to fix it simply with some help of my friends who said, Giles said, just turn it back to default. Mark said the same thing. Just turn the memory overclocking to default. And it just works. It's stable as a rock. So here's the point. Here's the point. If it's so difficult, if it's so easy to get it wrong, if it's so easy to tinker with your system, and I can see online that there's so many gamers, young men and women, who want to stream and who want to play their games and who want to co-op, get together and play some games. They all want smooth FPS, and they all want, they don't want to wait. They don't want stuttering. They want perfect pictures. And so what are they going to do? They don't have all the money in the world, maybe. So they buy something and they start going into the overclocking thing, and they mess it up, because you have to be like a semi-expert. And I know we talked about this before. You don't have to know what you're doing to get it right, but you have to have some level of what the hell is going on, because in my case, I could have said, I'll just overclock. No, but it has to be like 1.5 volt to the memory banks, not 1.32. And oh my God, you really have to read. And so what if they just said, why do we have this? Why do we have a PC platform that allows you to, or that gives you the impression that you can just randomly buy parts and put them together? But by now we're at a level where things are so complicated, you can't randomly buy parts. You have to selectively buy parts. And not only that, you can plug them in, but you have to know exactly which setting to use, because otherwise it will just crash. And I've seen videos of people who are into this kind of thing and who seem to think, 1 or 2 blue screens of death per day isn't so bad. Now, consoles don't crash like that unless they're broken, So I think we're getting to a point where maybe, this is the kind of thing you say in a situation like that. We're getting to a point. I don't know. I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking, why not just have the manufacturer say, this hardware works. We've fiddled with the settings, and this is perfect. It's as good as it'll be. Because what I do now is I buy random parts which are listed exactly. So basically everyone's buying the same selection of things. And then we all go on YouTube and listen to this most popular video that says, oh, do this setting, do that setting, do this setting, and then it's optimal. And all the rest is people saying, it's not working for me, it's not working for me. Why don't we leave it to the experts and say, okay, this is the combination of hardware, this is the optimal setting, there you go. And what do you got? You got a console. So we're living in the illusion that PCs, and I'm a PC gamer. I like the versatility of a PC because I can find any kind of software I like. I can download anything. I can even program. The interface is great. I can connect VR to it. But don't you see the similarities here? Aren't PCs and consoles, not just in performance, but in, they're getting closer together. And it's making more and more sense. For people like me, I don't want to know. I would be perfectly happy to get a PC that I can open up, but I don't want to, like my PS4. I have no need to unscrew the top or whatever, get it open. But in a PC, I don't want to work on my PC, but I've been forced over time, to open it up, to put in a new sound card, to put in a new graphics card, to put in new memory, but to put in a new disc. I've done all these things. I don't want to do these things because they always make me nervous. I have to sit on my knees under my desk, and I hate that. So there's my 2 cents. I think it makes sense to say, just get a PC, don't open it up. This is it. This is the hardware. Don't because the next level is going to be that a manufacturer is going to make a new mainboard, which is the shit, which kicks everyone's ass. But there's one thing, you can only buy it with this memory type. Sorry. And don't change the setting, because any setting you do will make it slower. And that, right? So just, and then we'll be moving towards, because what's the deal? What's the deal with having a selection of 10 types of memory? Yeah, price, maybe. And I'm pretty sure there's people, this memory is much better than that memory. And why? How do you notice that? How do you notice that this memory is better than the other memory? You don't. Even overclocking. The only thing that I've noticed is that my PC crashes. It doesn't make a difference, any noticeable difference most of the time, unless you're really specifically targeting memory-intensive applications, that don't use the GPU and that don't use really specific CPU and memory things. Then over time, when you run things a long time, my memory test is purely CPU, memory, nothing else. That ran for 7.5 hours. If I had quicker memory, that might have run for 4 hours. Yeah. But on the whole, nobody's going to notice. So what's the point in having 10 types of different sorts of memories to choose from? Just to say to your friends, "Oh no, I use Corsair." Woohoo. And look at how they look. Have you I mean, this is about nothing. Memory banks, right? A memory bank in itself, it's just a PCB with some chips on it, yeah, and with a couple of edge connectors. But now we have to have cooling, and it has to have like a nice little jacket, and it has to, and they become bigger and bigger, and you can get low profile memory sticks, which are just basically memory sticks with no shit attached to them. It's nuts. Half the time we just do things that are nuts and useless. Okay, so I'm done. Anyway, yeah, I bought this. I had some store credit stored away to get my PS5, and it was almost enough to buy this. And this is the C64 Maxi, like the 64 Mini. Again, there's no use to have both because they're basically the same, but this has a keyboard. And I figured that this is the only mini console that actually gets useful firmware updates. So this now also emulates the REU, like the RAM expansion unit. And this is becoming a very, very... it already was, but it's becoming a more and more mature system. You can develop software on this natively from start to finish in assembly. You know, you can do it all on this thing. So I thought I gotta have this, and I'm not gonna buy a PS5 because I can't get a PS5. It's just not available in this country. Well, maybe one or two people will have one. I don't know. It's not me. So I kind of gave up on the idea of having a PS5 in 2021. I feel no need to have one. I see no one talking about it. I've seen two people who have one. Oh, I've got a PS5. There's no word. There's no word. No videos. There's nothing about it. So I don't know what to think of that. The only real reason for me to want to have a PS5 would be if Sniper Elite 5 came out only on PS5. Then I'd probably want it. Otherwise, I really don't see a reason at the moment. So maybe next year, when it's available, when all the bugs are out, you know, when there's new system updates and the new hardware updates, and it's had a little bit of a chance, and it's readily available, you can just buy it, then I'll probably get one. But right now, I'm thinking not really bothered to do it. So I had some money left. Next year, maybe I'll get a nice bonus, and I'll have some money, and I'll trade in my PS4, and maybe I'll get a PS5. Right now, I bought another Commodore 64. This is the thing. So, be nice, be generous, be patient, and all will be well. I've been the Highlander. You have been amazing. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.